Ryan is not only the luckiest man, but he's also went from great actor to business mogul in just a few years. So I'm going to uncover his investment secrets that not only made him the Deadpool of finance, but also the 3 key investments that made him a multi-hundred millionaire. Welcome to Money Ripples. I'm Chris Miles here. Now in this channel, we always talk about things like creating passive income. We talk about how to create wealth now, not doing the traditional saving those dumb mutual funds forever. Well, guess what? Ryan didn't do that either. No. And we're gonna talk about what he did that has been proven to work.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
And in fact, we talk about it all the time on this channel. We even teach you how to do it too. All right, so here's the 3 biggest investments that Ryan had done here. Now I know you wanna see Ryan's face thrown up here all the time because let's be honest, I'd rather see Ryan's face than my own face as well.
You should have seen your face.
But let's just talk about what investments he did. So the first one we'll talk about here is aviation gin. Now, maybe if you've seen some things about Ryan Reynolds, you've seen that he's done the commercials for aviation gin. First he was an investor, but then he even went in as a spokesperson for them.
Think Ryan Reynolds got this far?
And man, did he knock it out of the park or what? I mean, the thing that's brilliant about Ryan Reynolds, right? This is the core of what he does with all of these things, is that he inserts Ryan Reynolds' brand into whatever he does. That's a key thing you got to remember. When it comes to business, it's not about just the business idea. See, there's plenty of alcohol companies that he could be dealing with, right? But he chose this one, he invested in this one, and then he became the spokesperson to put his own humor, his own personality. Because let's be honest, I mean, if there's any actor, he's my favorite, right? I love his humor. I love the fact that he has this bravado that it's really false bravado that he has, right? It seems like he's bragging, but then he deprecates himself at the same time. And so he's just witty, he's funny, he's basically Deadpool put into gin.
I know, right?
But wait, there's more. Because he didn't just do it with that, he also did it with a company called Mint Mobile. You've probably seen their commercials too. In fact, some of you might even missed seeing Rick Moranis, the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Ghostbusters. He shows up for the first time ever in a Mint Mobile commercial. He had been out of Hollywood forever, and what does he do? He brings them on. And so again, Ryan Reynolds in typical fashion goes and inserts himself into the media, into the marketing and the branding of that company, skyrocketing it to over $1 billion of valuation, which again, helps Ryan Reynolds be worth a couple $100 million more. And that leads to his next project, which is Maximum Effort, which of course he just took one of the taglines from Deadpool.
And maximum effort.
He used that as part of his production studios. And so that one's just up and coming. That's one of his newer ventures. He's also owns a freaking soccer team, right? He owns a team in England right now. He's got an investment there. Now he actually put his own money in. He actually put money into helping boost up the franchise and everything else with another fellow actor, a fellow comedian. And they're doing that too. So he's got all these different projects. Notice not once, you didn't hear him say he invested in stocks. Now I know there's gonna be somebody out there who'll say,
actually, Chris, if you really look at it carefully, you'll see that he's getting paid because he has ownership in those companies, in that stock.
no, he doesn't, because it's not a publicly traded company. 1, neither of those companies are. But 2, they bought into the business. And they especially bought into Ryan.
Never underestimate a man with a mustache.
That is the secret. Ryan was that X factor, that element that boosted the sales, boosted the valuation. It wasn't about what most people talk about doing, which is, I'm gonna buy my Apple stock and I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna make a lot of money. No, you're not, because you can't do squat about Apple. You're not gonna take over Steve Jobs' job. You're not gonna do that, right? You're gonna be sitting there hoping and praying they make good decisions, which means you have zero control and you really don't make that much money as a result because they've already made their big money when they went on the stock market in the first place. Ryan bought and invested in businesses, not stocks. So let's really talk the difference about what Ryan Reynolds is doing versus what everybody else has been telling you to do, right? So stocks, you really get paid one of 2 ways. Either one, it's something like dividends, which is basically just interest you get paid on the stock. But the stock price doesn't really move a whole lot. It stays pretty steady. You get paid dividends. This isn't too shabby, but you ain't gonna get rich off this either. The other way, it looks like this. Look familiar, right? That's called the stock market. That's like a stock price. You get paid, possibly, depending if it goes up or down. You have zero control over what happens, and you're lucky. Again, if it's on the stock market, you're not likely to get really, really rich unless you hold this thing for like 80,000 years. And then maybe you might make millions, if not possibly billions of dollars. But by that point, billions won't be worth much anyways. That's very different than being in business, right? This is the thing that Warren Buffett does. This is the thing that Ryan Reynolds does. And this is the thing that actually works. By the way, if you want to know what works, look at the Forbes 500 list and you'll see a difference. This kind of stuff, This is the kind of stuff that you see guys like George Soros do, right? Which, not everybody loves, and I don't blame him. George Soros is freaking like 100 years old. Okay, not quite, but he's pretty dang old, right? He had to invest a lot of money to get himself to the point to be a billionaire. But then you got people, literally got people like Buffett. Now, Buffett is old too, right? He got there too. But he's one of the richest men in the world. But you even got guys like Bezos, right? You got Bezos. Of course, you got guys like Buffett. And then, of course, not to put another B in there, I'll put Ryan Reynolds, right? You got people like that. Now, Ryan Reynolds isn't a billionaire yet. I don't think he's far off. I think before he's 50, he will be there. These people invest in businesses. They buy interest in a company, and here's what they do. They get paid two ways. They get paid from profits, and they get paid especially if there's a sale. Now, many of them have their wealth also in like the stock value, right? That's why also we throw in this list, guys like Elon Musk, right? We can put them in here too. Now, Musk actually has no money. Musk only has business valuation that makes him wealthier. That's kind of a risky business to be in and of itself. But notice that Musk got there faster. He didn't save in stocks and dividends. It was seriously by using the business model. This is the way to get there. Every person you see on that Forbes 500 list, the richest billionaires in the world, have a business. This is the secret to success. This just doesn't work. That's fine if you want to gamble your life away, but that is the one sure way you can create a lot of wealth quickly is through having your own business.
So one of the things that struck me about a lot of the ads that come out of Maximum Effort and Mountain are that there's a shock value to them. Whether it's Hugh Jackman pouring a bottle of gin on a beautiful table and the goody two-shoes and me is like freaking out about the poor table, or what Steve-O did with the Carolina Pepper. Actually, I think we have a clip of that. We could play that really quickly.
Oh, God.
Hi, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and welcome to my Mountain Television software demo stunt.
I thought I was here to promote my small business.
We'd also like to see you eat the peppers.
There's a full medical team. Okay. I got it. When's it gonna melt out?
About 10 or 15 minutes.
How long's it been?
You got ice cubes?
I've never had an experience like that. Did I get the lines for you?
You got the lines perfectly.
I'm so sorry.
My team better never make me eat a ghost pepper on this channel. I'm just saying. I'm not going to do it.
I'm so sorry.
So you're not just there holding, a little product. You're there. The viewer's engaged in what you're doing. I mean, is that kind of behind a lot of your marketing? This is going to be fun. This is going to kind of make you get on the edge of your seat. Is that part of your strategy, that you're really going to bring kind of the fun and charisma that you have on film into this marketing material?
Well, doing showing people a demo of a revolutionary ad tech software is not going to be the most exciting thing in the world. So we had to find a way to do that. And I'd actually pitched this earlier on, maybe a couple of months before, and I thought, I'll eat one of these peppers. And I just thought it was so much funnier if I play the sort of, big shot movie star who's unwilling to put his own ass on the line, which is really actually quite true. So I thought, Steve-O, jackass. So I reached out to Steve-O, and he was very happy to jump in and do this. But, most of what we do is, really is necessity being the mother of invention. It's a lot of times we're working really quickly, working with limited budgets, but we're also acknowledging and playing with the cultural landscape. So that's a huge part of what we do. We try to create marketing that's moving at the exact same speed of culture as culture is. If you look at some of these big kind of enterprise brands that have existed for decades, a lot of times their marketing sort of go-to is 9-10 months in advance. So they're plotting the messaging, they're plotting the stories that they're going to tell 9-10 months in advance. And I don't know that you are going to be as effective as when you're moving at the exact same speed as culture. So
what I love about this is that he said this. He said, nobody wants to see a demo of a software company. So what can we do to just grab their attention, right? And so he's taken that, like he said, like those Twitter bite-size type of moments or thoughts, those things that get the likes, and you apply that to film, apply that to his brand. And that's become his brand. It's become his humor, and everything's been infused in it, and that has become his unique thing, that unique niche. And if you're in business, your unique niche is everything. It's not about what you do. It's about how you do it uniquely different than anybody else. And you don't have to be off the wall. You could be as boring as a piece of wallpaper, right? You could be as boring as a doorknob. You could be as boring as Joe Biden, right? You could do whatever you want and it's fine. Like you just put yourself into it and then you just turn the volume up a little bit. So here are the 3 lessons you learned from Ryan Reynolds, right? 1, be awesome at your job. Be awesome at what you do. He wasn't in business first. He made money as an actor first, that then went in business. So be awesome in your business or in your job, make money there to then do number 2, which is you can then invest in business. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in whatever it might be to allow you to grow your wealth now. And then 3, the great thing you can learn from Ryan is you put your own flavor, put your own spin on it. Do it your way. Now I get it. Somebody might say, I don't want to create a business. That's okay. You don't have to. There are ways to create passive income even outside of business. And in fact, even if you are in business, I still recommend you create passive income where you become work optional. You work because you want to, not because you have to. And the way to figure out how much you can do that, you can actually go and click and find our passive income calculator to see how much passive income you could create in the next 12 months. So click on the link in the description below to try that passive income calculator for you right now. So Easter egg spoiler alert, I just gave away one of the answers. If you want to learn how to create more passive income like turnkey real estate, go check out this next video here. So what's the thing I love about Ryan Reynolds more than just Deadpool, even though I like to pose like him right now? He doesn't invest in stocks. He doesn't buy companies like Apple and Microsoft and Google. Oh no, he invests in companies that he can put his own flavor, his own humor into. I feel like I'm falling over. So he puts his own flavor, his own uniqueness and humor into those companies to make them worth more. So they not only pay him, but when they sell, they make him literally hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what an investor does. That's what a business owner does. They don't go gamble in the stock market hoping it makes a few bucks.